BeastNet Podcast, sponsored in part by James Safety Services, OCR Buddy, and supported by the fitness community. Here we discuss all things fitness related, running, rucking, mental health and preparedness, and of course, obstacle course racing. Welcome to the BeastNet.
We don't bite hard.
Hey everybody, it's Mike with BeastNet, and on today's episode I have with me Jennifer Tarnecki. So Jennifer, let everyone know who you are.
Hey, I'm a new racer to the OCR community. I've actually only been racing since June of 2022. And in that time, I've done about 32 races, all with more heart than scars. So I'm a part of the crew there, helping take our adaptive athletes out. People with both visible and invisible scars. And I'm actually one of the ones with the invisible scar. And that's kind of how I've got to be part of that organization. So,
Which is amazing. I mean, most of the listeners know that, I race with more heart than scars quite a bit. Well, I do now. Before I didn't, but I just raced, and now I've been racing with more heart than scars. I finally got BeastNet. We've been associated with more heart than scars, but we were on the West Coast, and they didn't do a lot of races on the West Coast. Now I live in Texas, so I'm a lot closer.
mm-hmm.
So I've done a couple races now with the team. We've always supported from afar,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't able to travel as much as Dawn was. So Dawn would travel and go to races, and I would just support with the podcast. But now that I'm closer, I can go to more races.
It's pretty amazing being out there and being part of the teamwork and just the love that goes into that, because a lot of us are suffering in our own ways. And when you're out there and you're putting others before you, I mean, I kind of view that as an act of love,
Yeah.
helping people over A-frames, which I used to be terrified of, and now I love. So just overcoming all these obstacles when you get out there. So,
And it helps us as well. The people that are out there, and a lot of people don't think about that. They're like, "Oh, you're helping these people." I'm like, you don't realize how much it's helping us as well. Um, Most people
yeah.
know, and I've mentioned on the podcast a couple of times, I was done. I didn't want to do OCR anymore. I didn't want to do any of it. I've had some outs, some issues with. I was a Spartan ambassador for a long time, and I've had issues with that team, and stepped away. I didn't have the love for it anymore. I wasn't
Mhm.
enjoying it anymore, and I figured out part of what that was during COVID. I lost over 100 pounds, and
Wow.
I started
Awesome.
racing. Yeah, I started doing competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in competitive, it's all about you. And I lost my love because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because before that, I always raced with my friends, with my group. We always had our group. We weren't officially helping people, but we helped people. That's just what you
Right.
did.
Yeah.
I can remember being on a race where we had a goal. We were going to be done in, a super in less than 2 hours. We were going to cruise. We were going to make it. And we were probably 2.5, 3 miles from finishing, and we were right on pace. We were perfectly on pace. We were going to make it. And we ran across this lady that was having major issues. And without a second thought, all three of us just stopped and started helping her. None of
Mm-hmm.
us even said anything. We never said, "Oh, this is going to ruin our time," or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
just kind of all gave each other a look, and we knew exactly what. Okay, the,
Yeah.
the the goal's out the window because this lady is finishing this race, and the look on her face when she finished was just like,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the feeling I felt was just amazing. And like I said, then when I lost the weight, I'm like, I'm going to go competitive, and I'm going to race hard, and I'm going to go out there and kick some butt. And I did. I mean, I had fun. I mean, I got my best sprint. I mean, I'm not great. I'm never going to be really fast, but my best sprint was, I was so mad. I wanted to beat an hour. I was 1 hour and 30 seconds.
Hey, that's
And
good.
I mean, but then, like I said, there was, now what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think for me, it's seeing their faces and stuff. People that especially like our adaptive athletes, where
Hmm.
something's tragic that's happened to them, or maybe they were born that way, and getting to see their faces when they actually do something. When a lot of times that maybe been told no, you can't do this, or you're not able, or whatever, and seeing them go over an A-frame or whatever, just the joy and happiness in their face, that gives me
Yeah.
my why I go out there and do what I do,
Yeah.
why I go out and help.
And I'm the same. That was kind of like me. I did, like I said, I was pretty much done. And then this year, once I moved to Houston, um, I decided I was going to do the Dallas race, and I was going to do the Dallas race with the team. Um, and it was the first Spartan race I did all year, and I did it with Marla, with the team, to get Marla through. Things didn't go well. There's most of the listeners know kind of how that did not end the way we wanted it to. Um, but even just getting her through most of that, half of it, and everything else, and look on her face, and just everyone else, how appreciative, and how many people were like, oh, I have a friend, I hear this all the time. I had friends that, oh, well, have always wanted to do this, but they have this disability and never
Hmm.
thought they could. And it's like, well, reach out to us. We will
Yeah.
help,
Hmm.
you know, and we give people that,
Hmm.
and that was
You
like
give them
world's,
hope back after
yeah,
they've lost it for a while,
yep. And world's toughest. There was somebody, one of the people that was one of the pit crews was in a wheelchair and made some comment like, I never thought I would be able to go out there and do the race.
Mm.
And it's like, yeah, we'll help, because I mean, the look on Marla's face when we got hit 25 was just amazing. When we hit that 25-mile mark before we even went to bed,
Yeah.
and she was hoping just to hit 20. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
That's amazing. That's so awesome. Yeah. That's
And
what
that's what
makes it worth the while,
it is.
going out there. The
It's what makes
cold,
her,
trucking through the wet, all that. So,
yeah. And trying to, pull and, do all the different duties and learning what you're supposed to do when you're on the chairs and everything else. And I think that's the other thing too, is I mean, people don't realize how much each of us has to do.
yeah.
They're like,
Safety
oh,
of
oh,
those. Yeah.
yep. You're just
Safety of the
walking
adaptive
next to it.
athlete. Hmm.
Not really.
No.
No, no, we're pulling, we're pushing. Some of us look like we're just walking, but we're there because we may need to be the brake, we may need to be an extra pull, you know, all sorts of different things that,
Yeah.
and all sorts of thought. It really is, you know, a six-man team, at least a six-person team for one
Hmm.
chair to do
Yeah.
it correctly.
Yeah. Always thinking about the safety of the athlete, the terrain.
Hmm.
Some of those races, none of them are flat. So
No.
watching that terrain so that chair don't tip a certain way, making sure that they're safe.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You
making
know,
sure they're having
figuring
a good time too.
figuring out spots where you have to take the chair up and over an obstacle because there's no other
Water.
option. You can't go
Yeah.
around it. Water. I
Hmm.
mean, so many different things. And then, and it becomes about them. It's like one of those things that like world's toughest. At world's toughest, a lot of people are like, oh, what do you think about these up? I'm like, I never actually did that obstacle the whole night.
Hmm.
They're like, but you were there for 24 hours. I'm like, yeah, but I was with Marla.
Yeah,
It was about getting her through. And if I
exactly.
didn't need to be, involved on that part of it, I wasn't, and that's kind of it. There was we helped her on a lot of the obstacles. It was getting her through the obstacles, and making sure that each one of us was going to be able to still be out there for the whole 30 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Because out of the whole team, I think there was one person who had a issue with their feet who had to step out for a bit, but then was back in, you know.
Hmm.
But that was it. I mean, other than that, we were all out there, and I mean, it was one of those things, and it wasn't really that person's choice.
Hmm.
He was
Yeah,
told that he
yeah,
was taking he was stepping out. So by yeah, by a couple people. So,
yeah.
you know, and that's the other thing with the team. It's not just the athletes. We're looking for at each other too. You know,
Hmm.
we're looking at each other and saying, "Oh, hey, so and so is starting to have some issues. We may need to swap and put them." And that's once again why you want at least six so people can swap in and out. A couple more, so if someone's getting tired, they can
Yeah. Trade
step
off.
in,
Yep.
trade off, and
Mm.
it's tough.
Yeah, it's a lot of teamwork.
It is.
Yeah, but it makes
And
it.
it
Um,
does. And Joey does a great job at figuring out who needs to be on each one. Because I know when me and Joey, before we really raced together, we had a little bit of a issue. And a lot of it's my communication problems. And I'll be honest with that. I have major when I'm talking like this, we're okay because I can inflection, you can see my face, you can hear the tone of my voice. When I'm texting, I come across as the most crass, like horrible person sometimes because I don't think about how my little short, like, okay, or
that's just texting in general.
oh,
It's so hard to communicate that way.
and I'm
You
the
don't.
worst. I am the worst. And it was one of those ones I sent something to Joe and I can't remember what it was, but I sent it and it was like if there was an apostrophe, it would have been like a comma, it would have made wouldn't have sounded so bad. But without the comment, it just sounded like I was totally second guessing everything he was doing. And I'm like, no, I was just kind of wondering. But it was just like, oh, but I mean, I could get everything that he has to do. I mean, he has to make sure that most of the time, like with the Dallas race, that we had enough people. There was two groups going out, one doing the beast, one doing the ultra, that we had enough between the two. People
The
backing out at the
gear.
la yep,
Yeah.
the gear, people backing out at the last minute, trying to figure out if we, know, do we need to switch people from this race to this race? I mean, everything else. And it's just like they call him the cat herder for a reason.
Yes, I do. Yeah, he's definitely a very strong individual to be able to manage all of that. There's
Yeah.
so many of us and so much we're trying to accomplish and for the greater good for the community and this organization, but
Hmm.
better him than me because I don't know if I
Yeah.
could I could do it all. So
Well, it does seem that he is starting to, which I get. I'm horrible about this too, handing off some things and
hmm
delegating.
Yep.
That was one of the things like with the podcast. A lot of people don't know. I mean, most listeners do know that at one point this was almost over. The podcast was going to be done because I was burnt out. I was toast
Wow.
because I was doing all of it. I was the
Mm-hmm.
one recording. I was editing, scheduling everything. And Dawn, Brother Boggs saved my ass. He stepped in and said, "Hey, I'll do a lot of it. I'll do most of it. You just record the episodes."
Yep.
And the second that happened, it kind of, took that weight off me.
Yeah.
I try and help him because he does do a lot, and I don't do anything but this. So, so most people don't realize that if in the background, 90% of BeastNet is Brother Boggs. 90%. I'm just the face and the voice. So this doesn't happen if he's not there. Um,
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people, me and Dawn, we've known each other since preschool. So, a few people actually
Wow.
thought we were actually brothers, and it's like, well, we are,
Yeah.
just not biologically.
You're
So,
right.
yeah. So, yeah, we met in preschool. So,
Wow.
yeah, we've known each other a little while.
Yeah.
But
Wow. That's awesome.
so, like I said, he has been handed like delegating some things a little bit more. Joey has. So, I know aren't you taking over a little bit of helping
Yeah,
with
I'm
a few
helping
things?
with our social media team. So that's been fun. Getting to do our promos that we have. Like the big one right now we got with Spartan, the races, and
Hmm.
good for what the sprint, super beast, ultra, the trail race. I'm doing my first trail race in Jacksonville next month.
Nice.
I've never done one before, so I'm pretty excited about that. Also the Tough Mudders and any Dekas. So $100, donate to the organization and get a race. Come out
Which
and
is
join us.
amazing. I mean,
That's an awesome deal.
it is an awesome deal. I mean, yeah, you can't, no. I know when I first started racing, I think you could get a sprint for like $60, but that was a long time ago. But
Yeah, they're a little more than that now.
but even then, that's one of the reasons why I worked for, the Spartan Street team is I got free races.
Mm-hmm.
And when
Yeah,
I first started, there was a lot more ways to get the free races, and I would end up by the end of the year with so many extras. So I used
yeah,
to all the time. I was that one where, people would be like, "Hey, you want to race?" And they're like, "Oh, it's too expensive." Okay, I'll give you a free race. What's your next excuse? Come on, let's go. You know,
that's awesome.
and
That's
that's one of the
awesome.
things. It's like, yeah,
I
come up.
like
What's
that.
what's excuse number two? And they're like,
They're like, oh no, now I really got to commit. Yeah,
yeah.
cool.
But
I like getting out of my comfort zone and doing
yes.
that stuff.
And that's what's great about it. I mean, that's what's great with the team too. I mean, $100 is, I mean, that's a huge deal. You know, I know I've been sharing that too, but
Yeah.
I'm really bad about saying that I shared it and put it on the spreadsheet. I'm not good at that. You'll find that out.
Do you need me to log your stuff for you, Mike?
No, I'll do it, or I'll make Don do it. Don does most. He really does. Like pretty much anytime I order anything or anything like that, it's Don. It's not me because I'm like, I can't figure out the spreadsheet. I'm good at just turning this on. But I've got the spreadsheet figured out. I did figure that out. So I can get into it. I just keep forgetting. And then it's like I go to do it and then I'm like, when did I post?
I know. I have to go back to my Facebook and look at the dates. I usually try to do it as soon as I post, but that
No.
doesn't always work out that way. So
Yeah, So if besides, someone just volunteer or, buying the race codes there, is there any other way that people can help and like,
Yeah.
do stuff for
Um,
More Heart Than Scars?
The can also help with volunteering. So I mean, you can buy the race and go do it by yourself, or you can buy the race and maybe come volunteer with us, see what we do, see us in action. Also, there are ways to contribute financially, donations if they want to go that route. Also setting up if they have like a local event in their area where they want to sponsor More Heart Than Scars, they can do that as well. Bring attention to the maybe like a local race. Um, there's a lot of different ways that they can help us help keep doing what we're doing for not only the adaptive athletes but also others like myself with the invisible scars, just helping us get out there. The whole reason I came into More Heart Than Scars is I was kind of in a dark period in my life. I can remember having suicidal thoughts at the age of 9. So most of my life, I've dealt with this. I've had a lot of grief in my life. I've lost a brother at 13. He was 13 years old. And I lost my sister. She was 33. So I was when one of our other members, Mark, found me. I think I needed more hearts and scars more than they needed me in many ways. So they helped me find purpose again in my life because I was kind of just searching and just being
Mhm.
out there with them and all that. It just, I don't know, it's calming to the depression and anxiety that I'm so used to having rattling around in my head. So, just amazing organization. It really is. So, I always tell
Part
them
of it
because
too,
it saved me.
and they do. They've saved me too. And I think part of what it is because you realize there's other people out there.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest part, I mean, because some listeners know, some don't. I don't go deep a lot of times into my own mental, but I mentioned it a few because I have one of the guys, Dave, I talk to a lot, and we talk a lot about mental, especially being, our age and men and what we're
Mm-hmm.
expected to be and all that stuff and how the things get in your head. Um, you think you're alone. That's the biggest thing that I found with
Mm-hmm.
depression. Depression is so good at making you feel alone. And I can remember being parts of huge groups and still feeling like I was by myself,
Mm-hmm.
and so alone. Um, and the one thing I love about More Heart Than Scars, they go out of their way to make sure you don't feel that way. To make sure, if someone posts something that's a little, people are like, hey, how's it going? How you
Yeah.
feeling? If
Mm-hmm.
someone knows, hey, something's happened in your life, the team is reaching out and like, hey, are you doing okay? Do you need someone to talk to? And that part is
Yeah.
what's the other part about the team that's so amazing because people don't see like we always talk about the invisible. You can
Mm-hmm.
see if someone's missing a leg, someone's in a wheelchair, someone's, you know, has these obvious like, hey, that person is, they're an adaptive athlete because of that. They don't see what's
Mm-hmm.
up here. They can't see what's in my head or it's in your head. Everything may look great, but you
Yeah.
never know. Um, I I'm a safety guy in my normal life. I do safety. OSHA, all that, you know, work site safety and stuff. One of the companies I used to work for, I actually did mental health awareness talks. I actually did it for
Cool.
Washington State. I did it at the governor's conference. I did a talk on mental health awareness. And until you see some of the numbers, you don't realize how bad it really is and how much people hide,
Mm-hmm.
behind the masks and everything like that. And it's scary. And I
Did
think
that for
that's one thing I
years.
like with the group. They look,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they look for that. I think the
Mm-hmm.
best is, and I can't remember, it's a football club from like Europe or something that had a commercial about mental health. And it shows these two guys at the game, and the one guy just looks like he's bored the whole time. Just and then all of a sudden at the end of the video, the other guy who's like clapping and excited the whole time suddenly isn't there. But the guy who was sad all the time is, and you see him put like, um, a scarf on the seat where the other guy sat the whole time, and it just says, "You never know."
Oh, yeah.
You never know who's battling what demons are in our head, and that's one thing you find. I do comedy too, and comics are the most depressed people you've ever met. but they hide it and mask it with comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's their therapy in their way, and I do that too as one of my outlets. But the team, they brought me out of a dark place. I was getting dark again, and they kind of helped me come back out of that.
Yeah, they definitely helped me out of mine and on my never was into like physical fitness. So, but in order to help with these races, you need to have some strength, So I've been working on
Hmm.
that, and it's been eye opening for me because I've probably been on every depression medicine you can think of over the course of my life, and for the first time for me personally, I'm not taking anything. I just do my workout every day, which I know doesn't work for everyone, but in my case, it's been very beneficial. It's almost like, taking my medicine every day, do my workout, my strength training and stuff. And it's been a lot better. So I still have some of the suicidal thoughts time to time, but I'm able to, maybe my mindset's stronger, able to push them away and not think about it so much. So, but they've helped me with
Well,
that.
and I
So,
think too, it's one of those being part of the team. You have people that if you needed to, you could call. you know,
definitely.
or if they see something a little bit off, they're gonna send you a message. I have a good friend of mine that all the time. I don't think we've had like a full like real conversation in like a year and a half, but every once in a while I'll just send a text. Love you, miss you.
hmm Yeah, there's several of the
You
team
know,
members I speak. Well, I don't speak to them, but we message back and forth daily.
yeah,
We keep in touch and check on each other and stuff. So it's a big family, is what it is. It's my
it is.
extended family at this point. So
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I have friends, and every once in a while, there's a couple of them. We just send like memes back and forth, or stupid videos that we find.
yep,
You
yep,
know, But it's just those stupid little things sometimes they make you think, oh, they thought of me.
uh-huh, yep, yep,
And it reminds you that there's other people out there and that you're not alone. And that was one of the hardest things for me moving to Houston. I had issues, living in Seattle and stuff, feeling alone, even though I was surrounded by family, friends, everything else. I'm the youngest of six kids. Family, friends, everything. Moving to Houston, I know like two people that live here. That's it. And one of them's my wife who lives with me. The other's a friend that I actually met on the Dallas Ultra 2 years ago. We became great friends, and she lives down here. She's my supper sister now when we go and do workouts. But except she's gotten a lot better in shape, and I've gotten worse, so I've got to work on some things. But but I was really worried about the being alone feeling. But it's amazing how, just like I said, those weird texts and everything else, and that was another thing during COVID that I had major issues with. All of a
yeah.
sudden, I
COVID was
couldn't
hard.
couldn't
Hmm
socialize, and I couldn't do that. And I'm like, even though we broke the rules and socialized more than we were supposed to, but whatever. Um, we could only
Yeah,
hang with
COVID was
family.
hard.
We could only hang with family. I called them family, so we're good. But because I lived right by a park and I had a huge yard, so we'd have workouts and stuff in the park and stuff like that, and do what we could to try and still, because we're social creatures. We need that
hmm
socialization, and I think that took a lot. And that was one of the things. Once COVID ended, I was in the best shape I'd ever been in,
hmm
but my mindset wasn't
Yeah, worst. Yeah. I
wasn't
remember
right.
I've just always been more of quiet, I guess, introvert or whatever, but I really realized how much I missed people during COVID.
Yeah.
I was working from home. Just like you, I felt like my mental health just declined, not being able to just interact with
Hmm.
people. So, yeah.
Yeah. It was tough. It was tough. And I'm one of those. I'm the opposite. I am not quiet. I am the loud guy who is in the center of attention. Um, it's kind of why I do this in
Yeah.
comedy. But yeah, so it definitely it took a lot. And that was one of those things that was like you said, the mental scars. I came out of that and I'm just like, I had been trained, I've gone through mental health first aid classes, all these things on how to deal with it. And I know how to recognize it in someone else and how to help somebody else. And I've gone through all this training on how to help somebody else deal with a mental crisis.
hmm
But then when it's you, it's tough.
hmm
It's
Yeah.
like I know how to do it. It's like, but it's like a surgeon doing surgery on themselves. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah.
I think that was the hardest part for me is coming out of COVID. It's like I'm trained to do all this and I can help others, but I didn't know how to help myself. And it's like that the saying, also goes like the person who helps everyone else is usually the one that needs the help,
Hmm.
because they're not getting it because everyone's having them help them. And I think that's where I came out of COVID was that way. And then, you know, things got a little better in the last year, and then all of a sudden we moved to Texas. So,
Texas
well,
is nice though.
oh, it is. It's gorgeous. I love it here. We live down in the Houston area. Beautiful. I love our house. I mean, we bought probably the biggest house we've ever had, and it's
Hmm.
only me and my wife now. No kids. All the kids, the youngest moved out. So 3/4 of an acre. I mean, it's great. It's
Your
brand
own
new
piece
house.
of paradise.
Yep. Brand new house, which it worked because it gives me the studio. I mean, I built
Hmm.
my own studio, which the one reason why I use the green screen the most is I don't know if you can see what's behind me.
I can't really make out what it is.
It's Scream.
Oh, now I see.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a full 9 foot tall standee that you have at the movie theaters.
Uh-huh.
Because my
Wow.
kid worked at the movie theater and he got it, but we never had a room that was big enough to put it up in. And I'm like, there you go.
Now we do.
Yeah. So that's why I said most of them I put the green screen behind me because that gets, yeah.
It's awesome.
But it's, for me, that's kind of one of those things. And I think it's really helped my mental health too to have this. I have this room that I can come in here and I can record, I can do whatever, I can do I'm working, trying to get my master's degree so I can work on that in here, and all that. So, and I think that's another thing where it gave me my own space,
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know. But like I said, but at the same time, I need that socialization. But luckily I get that at
Hmm.
work. So, and I found a couple groups down here. I found a rocking group down here that I usually go rock with on the weekends.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
but
So my since I'm the more quiet side, mine is painting. I enjoy painting, and then I like
nice.
photography and stuff too. So I do that to escape. So.
That's what I need to get back into reading. I have a whole like massive books over here and on my side, but it's been a while since I really just sat down and read a book. Because now it's like I'm reading textbooks, I'm reading all that, trying to, get on my
Hmm.
master's degree and all that. But it's like one of these days. I think
Read
we're
something you
supposed to,
want.
yeah, we're supposed to go on a cruise next month.
Oh
We're
wow.
going on a cruise. And I think the last time I read a full book, like in like 3 days, was on a cruise because I just go lay on the deck,
Hmm.
out in the sun and just read my book.
Relax.
And
Yeah.
there's nothing better than a paper book in my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's it. I think that's one of the things that has been the hardest for me is finding, I know what worked for my mental health in my teens, in my 20s, in my 30s. And now, I'm in my 40s and it's like, I don't have access to some of those things anymore. I mean, in my teens and 20s, I was reading books and probably drugs and alcohol, which is not actual mental health fix. That's making it worse. But
Mm.
back then you thought it was fixing it, you know. And
Yeah.
then you get older,
It
realize that's,
evolves. It changes.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that's not fixing. You're actually making
No.
things worse by doing
Yeah.
this. Then it was the kids, had the kids, and it was doing stuff with the kids, coaching
Mm-hmm.
baseball, coaching sports, doing stuff with the kids. That was my mental, you know, out because I was doing them, helping with them, getting them through their sports and teaching them. And then, 30s, they got older, then it was work. I had a job that was very fulfilling and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And then now that I'm in my 40s, it's like, okay, need to, and right now it's still, I found the one thing I like to do is help and teach. So, and that's one thing, like, I think with More Heart Than Scars is I like it because I can help
Yeah. I don't think
and I
I've
make
been
a
out there and
difference.
done a race with you. I
I
don't
don't think
think
so.
so. Yeah.
Because I've only really done 3 races actually with the team. Well, 4 technically, because I did do one with Nicole in
Hmm.
Seattle last year,
Okay.
or
I
2 years.
remember when she went to that one.
Yeah, I helped her with that one, but it wasn't. I mean, she walked the whole thing.
Mhm. Yeah, she's
So
doing amazing. So
so there
yeah.
wasn't a whole lot that I had
Hmm.
to do besides walk with her, make sure she was okay. In
Right.
fact, I wasn't even supposed to be there because I did the Ironman the next day.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, I wasn't gonna go because I'm like, I'm doing an Ironman tomorrow. But then, Don didn't have the help that he needed. And I'm like, okay, fine.
I'll be there.
I'll be there. I'll help you. But I'm not doing any obstacles. I'm just helping because I'm doing an Ironman tomorrow. In fact, when we went down there, my bike was because it was an hour and a half drive. My
Hmm.
bike was in the back of the car
Oh,
because
wow.
I had to drop it off
Yeah.
on my way home at for transition. So I did that one, and then Dallas this year at the Ultra was my first real one with the team. And then I did World's Toughest.
Yeah.
So I've only really done the three. Um,
Do you
and
have
then
any planned out this way?
I did do Florida. That's right. I did do Florida with Erica. So that in December because it was my birthday. Literally
Yeah.
on my birthday, I did Florida with Erica, which was a blast. It was so great to finally meet Erica in person.
Hmm.
So um, I was. It amazes me how much trust she puts in the team. With everything and just yeah. I mean,
Hmm. She's awesome. She's an amazing person with an incredible story.
she
So,
is. She is. Um, for this year, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I was hoping to do Jacksonville, but that's the week of my that's the weekend of my cruise.
yeah.
So I'm going on the Jay and Silent Bob cruise. So I get to go cruise with Jay and Silent Bob. So, which I mean, if we got the chance, why not? But um, I'm probably gonna do Houston, but I don't know if we have an athlete for Houston. So because I mean, I live in Houston,
You
so
might as well. Yeah.
might
It's
as
right in your
well.
backyard. That's like us
Um,
not doing Atlanta when
yeah,
it's right here. So,
and then I think what was the other one? Fayetteville. I think we're gonna do because that's Marla's Revenge.
yeah. So I'll be that
So
one. So
so
I'll meet you there
yeah,
at
we're
least
gonna
in
do
May, right?
yeah, we're gonna do that one because I want to be there when Marla gets it because I feel bad that we weren't able to do it that first one. So, but that was a brute. We were dead. We were so hurt and
Yeah.
so bad. So, um, I think part of that one was we didn't have enough team, that we needed a couple more people. We were
Hmm.
running thin. We had a couple people that got hurt in the first, on that lap. So we dropped people. We were already short, and then we dropped people because they were hurt. And then by the time we got back in, it was just there wasn't enough time.
Yeah.
There just wasn't. We were out of time, and it's like, so,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah. I
hurt
hope
though.
she gets her revenge in May.
Yeah,
Be
it
awesome.
hurt. It hurt
Yeah.
bad, but we'll get it. We'll get it in May. So
Yeah.
I think we're gonna make sure that somehow we get that one. So
Hmm.
which we will. And this team is great. I mean, that was one thing I think it was awesome to see Marla and the look on her face. Like I said, at World's Toughest, that's what made me feel better was when we got her to that 25-mile bib
Right. Yeah.
before she even went to bed. And I mean, the look on her face was just amazing. But I will tell you, when it was time to get back up in the morning and go back and do that last 5-mile loop, I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Your body's already stiffened up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's fun.
Yeah. And I didn't plan right. I didn't have everything I should have for like sleeping because I didn't even think about it. I'm like, we're not sleeping. But so yeah, once we went to go to sleep, I forgot my sleeping bag. Like I had the what is it, the dry robe, and just kind of wrapped
Mhm.
myself in dry robe like it was a sleeping bag. It wasn't good planning.
Always, after certain races and stuff, I've read too many of David Goggins' books, but he talks about that after action report, what went well, what didn't,
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah. So I always do that. My ultra, there's so many things I did wrong. So, but better time next time. So,
Yeah, that was me on the world's toughest. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of things I did wrong. I know what to do better next time. I brought a lot of crap I didn't need.
yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of stuff I needed, I didn't. So it's like I know how to. I could probably make it with half the crap that I had, but if
Hmm.
I'd had the right crap.
Yeah.
So
Plan better.
yeah. So and there's stuff that I need to buy because there's another race that I do that's a 24-hour race that I'm gonna need some of that same crap for. So I
Mhm.
just need to go out and get it. But it is, I mean, the feeling of helping her though, and helping
Yeah.
other people. And like I said, how many people you get on the course that are like, hey, how do you get involved in this or how do you do this or I think one of the ladies kept asking how she could find us, and I just gave her one of the bracelets and said, here you go, this will help you
Hmm.
find more
Yeah.
hearts and scars. This is us.
Mhm.
and that's because it was one of those things. It was just, she wasn't with us. She was someone, a random lady who was having
Mhm.
problems on the cargo net. She
Mhm.
was just mentally gone and
Pros. Yeah.
froze without a thought. Like Henry and um I can't remember who else. Someone else that just immediately like right to her, what do you need? How can we help you? And she's like, I
Mhm.
can't do this. And we're like, yes, you
Yeah,
can.
you
You
can.
can do
Mhm.
this. And we willed her over and
Mhm.
helped her. And I mean, everyone's clear chap or clapping, cheering.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was just so amazing. And afterwards, she's like, well, had that look like kind of why? And it's like, because that's just what we do.
What
I
we
mean,
do. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like we're here to help. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And that
love
was the
that.
thing. Like I said, that was the thing I was missing. Because I can remember like when I first did like Montana years ago and they put Bender, was like the first time they had Bender, we had a friend who was terrified.
Mhm.
So I actually ended up climbing up behind her and basically holding on with her in between me and Bender to hold her in place to make her feel comfortable to get over. And I'm like, she's like, thank you. And I'm like, hey, you wanted to go over it. I wanted to make sure you could, and you were terrified. So I helped her. And I
Mhm.
mean, after I probably did that like 4 or 5 times on 4 or 5 different races for her that way. And then after that, all of a sudden she just started doing it on her own. And it's like awesome, you know. And that's the other thing is to see that progression when you have someone
Mhm.
who's so afraid of something.
Yes. Yeah.
And then after a while they start doing it, and you're like,
Yep. Yeah. And just the joy in their face too.
yeah,
A lot. And I used to be, like I said, going over those cargo nets, especially the Tough Mudder one. That's a little intimidating how tall that one is. So, but yeah, yeah, seeing their face when they finally accomplish something that they didn't think they could do, you
yeah.
know.
I don't have a huge issue with heights, but that one,
Yeah.
by the time you hit the top, I'm like shaking and like it's like, yeah, I need to get off this thing. This is
I just
nuts.
try not to look down. I know we had to, me and another team member had to set up there on the top to kind of lift it up so we could help an adaptive athlete go
Mhm.
over. That was fun. Sitting on top of the
Yeah,
world up there, it felt like. So,
yeah. Oh yeah. We did that with Marla. We got her up and over it a couple times, but
mhm.
it was just like I think by the last time we got there, I'm like, I can't do this one again. Just like, no, I can't. I can't do it again. But if you need me to, I'm up there. But I just yeah. And that's the fun ones too. But all of a sudden you're like, I can't do this again. They're like, we need another person. Okay.
Okay, I'm doing
It's
it. Yep. Yep.
like,
Whatever we
okay,
can
if the
do to
team
help.
needs me. Yeah.
Yep. That's the truth.
And I think that's what's great with the group too, is no one's like, oh, I'm doing this. This is what I do. It's like, no, we all show up and look at Joey. Where do you want us?
Yep. Where can I help? You
Yep.
know,
Or
my
whoever
best
the
suited.
whoever the lead is on that one. You're just like, you go to the lead and say, okay, where do you want me?
Hmm.
I don't want to sit here and argue, but you tell me where to be. So it's
Right.
like the first one when I did Dallas in the Ultra, I carried the flag and the gear
Hmm.
bag. That was it.
Yep.
But it was needed. Someone needed to carry the gear bag and someone needed to carry the flag. I started with just one, and then when one of the guys got hurt, I ended up with both. But it was
Yeah.
just like everyone's like, "Oh, do you want me?" I'm like, "If I hand you the gear bag or hand you the flag, who's gonna be the pony?"
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, no,
Sometimes,
this isn't gonna
sometimes
happen.
you may have multiple jobs, you know.
Yeah,
I love carrying the invisible scars flag.
yeah.
That's my favorite flag. But I usually help side check a lot of
Mhm.
times with the chair. So
I think what was funny is you don't think about how hard it is actually to hold the flag, though. Like when you carry the flag through the whole race, it was like after, was it Dallas? Yeah, after Dallas, when we were getting ready, and because we drove out and drove back, you know, because or we were driving back to the hotel, and we're sitting there, and I
mhm.
had my arm like kind of up on the window, and my whole right arm, because that's where I carried it almost the whole time, just cramped. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I didn't. Oh yeah, I was carrying the flag.
Yep, using those muscles in the side of your body to keep it up. And it's
Yeah,
in trying to go over obstacles if you're doing that with the team and that keeping it up and stuff. Yeah, it can be a little
yeah.
challenging.
It almost took
That
me out in Florida, the flag bit, because I came.
that
Yeah,
wind kick up and you're going over that A frame.
that's where it was. I was going up and over A-frame, and as I went to go over, the flag, like the wind blew just right, and the pole actually went through part of the A-frame and got stuck, and then kind of pulled me over to a
Hmm.
point where like I was stuck because of where the flag was, and Michael had to come back up and like pull the
That's
flag away from me so that I can move because I was just like, I can't go anywhere.
yeah. I remember going over it and I had wind and I don't know, it took every bit of my core strength to try to keep that thing straight and I didn't want to lose it, you know. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And that's what's, I mean, like I said, that's what's great about the team. I mean, I can't wait for my first race with the team this year. And it's going to be, like I said, it should be Houston, I think will be the first one. Um, which, like I said, I don't know if we have an athlete for that one yet, but if we get one, I mean, and like I've told everyone, I have a big house and a big yard, so
Staying at your house.
I mean,
You
it's still from the venue. I think it's still like an hour away,
uh, mm,
but you know, because it's typical Spartan. It's like, you know, hey,
mhm.
we're in Houston. It's like, no, no, you're not.
It's not really Houston, some
No.
little town outside of Houston.
It's like I did Vegas for years. Vegas is actually the Vegas race was actually in Arizona.
Really?
Hmm? Yeah. And we'd stay in Utah because it was closer. So when we'd go to the Vegas race, because the very first year we made the mistake of staying in Vegas, and we're like, this is an hour and a half drive.
Mhm.
So the next year we're like, we looked and we're like, oh, St. George, Utah is 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So you'd stay in St. George, Utah, and the race was actually in Arizona.
Hmm.
But the parking lot of the race was in Nevada.
This is so crazy.
And it was always right at the time when like the time change was, so it screwed all of us up all the time.
Oh wow.
Because when you're in
Yeah.
Nevada, it was one time zone and
Yeah.
Arizona's a different one. So literally like the state line like ran through the parking lot.
But there was a lot of people, what, late or
Yeah.
early to the race?
I can't remember. It was at one of
Early.
them.
I guess
Early, I
earlier.
think. Yeah. Early, yeah. You get there and you're like, what do you mean it's not time? No, it's not time. So is there anything else that you had to wanted to say to the listeners or cover before we get out of here?
Mm,
I know
Um,
More Heart Than Scars has a lot of things coming up this year, but don't know
yeah.
what things we can talk about yet.
We always got something planned, right?
Mhm.
Um, I guess what I'd like to tell the least listeners more like mental health wise, that it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to reach out if you're having issues or if you're struggling. Um, that we're not alone, like we've already talked about. A lot of us have that feeling that, you know, I know when I did growing up that no one cared or, you know, I was invisible. You know, the depression hit me really hard during well, through most of my life with the grief and all that and stuff. Um, but also that to come out and come join us for a race. There's a lot of ways that they can get involved that we've already talked about. Donating, uh, purchasing a race, volunteering and coming out with us a race. They can get in touch with a lot of us on the social media platforms, but also on the moreheartsandscars.com website. There's one there that has some links. Um, if you want to find out more about volunteering or if you want to donate, the links are on there. But love to see them come out and come join us. And I guarantee you that it will be a very memorable day and very, very inspiring to see what we do and the people's lives that we're helping and changing. So,
Very much so. And the other thing is too is if you see any of the posts from More Heart Than Scars advertising the sale, like it, comment on it, do whatever.
mm,
It helps the team and helps the algorithm to get that out to more
yeah.
people. And the more people that see it, the more that are going to buy the race and the more
Mm-hmm.
money. Because that's one thing a lot of people don't understand. There's a lot of money that's needed because most of us, the group doesn't pay for us to travel. The
Mm-hmm.
group doesn't pay for our hotels. The group doesn't pay for any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I would expect them to either.
Right, right.
But the other stuff is, so all of us are doing this out of our own pockets because we love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
That money that when you're, putting that in there, that's for gear so that we can help more athletes.
Buy more
Um,
wheelchairs, buy
yes, the
more
chairs are
ropes.
very
Yeah.
expensive.
Mm-hmm.
The ropes, the, all of the gear that we use out on the course is very expensive. The gas to drive all that gear because you can't fly with all that. So every
Mm-mm.
race that we go to, that's why you don't see a whole lot on the West Coast yet because they're trying to be able to get more on the West Coast because you have to get that chair from Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
the main base is to the venue. So that's what a lot of that money is going to go to is to help the team be able to help more people, you know. So definitely, think about, buying it from the team. You're going to buy the race anyway. So
Right. Might as well get a good deal.
might as well get a good deal and might as well help a good cause.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
it's an amazing cause. And like I said, remember that's one of the biggest things I've always had with Spartan and some of these other ones when people comment about people not doing everything or not doing stuff. You never know what people are going through. You never know about the invisible scars.
Mm-hmm.
Someone may look perfectly healthy, but have, an autoimmune disease that you can't see that keeps them from being able to do certain things, but they still want to go out and do these races and they shouldn't be punished because
Mm-hmm.
they're already being punished enough.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be able to go out there and do those races. Um, don't judge someone
Mm-hmm.
until you spent time in their shoes. And even some of the other mental, the mental stuff, stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to break. It's tough. You grow up in certain ways and you have a lot of those issues. And what you see one way is someone else's perception completely different. For, like you mentioned with growing up and everything, I grew up the youngest of six. A lot of my brothers and sisters would always point out, like, you get away with everything. You can do whatever you want. Mom and dad never punish you. They saw it as that way. My perception, mom and dad don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see me. They
Mm-hmm.
don't care what I do. No one cares what I do. So why bother? So a lot of times just because it looks like someone has things the best and their life's amazing, you don't know how their perception is,
A
you know,
100%. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
you know. And like I said, that was one thing a lot of people like, you have it the best. Mom and dad don't, yell at you. They don't do anything. I'm like, they don't do anything. They don't pay attention to me. I don't
Mm-hmm.
exist. you know. And I think that's one of the reasons why I became this, where I'm as
Mm-hmm.
loud and rambunctious and I'm the center of attention when I places because I never got it.
Mm-hmm.
To get that attention, I had to be loud. I had to
Mm-hmm.
be obnoxious. I had to,
Look at
make,
me. Yeah.
yep, look
Get
at
their
me,
attention.
make
Mm-hmm.
myself known. And even
Mm-hmm.
then, wasn't always there. So you never know what someone's gone through in their life or what their mental, what they believe of themselves.
Right. Yep.
And don't look at anybody else and don't compare yourself. That's the
Yeah.
other big one I see, especially like with the Instagram and everything else going now. I think one of my favorite ones is an Instagram influencer that shows what she looks like normally and then like sucks it all in and does and says, this is the picture that I could show you. And it's like, you're human. Oh, wow. We're all human. What you're seeing
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram is filters, Photoshop, and someone at their best.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what their worst is.
Yeah.
And remember that on Facebook, you're seeing everybody at their best. Nobody's showing themselves crying in the shower because they want to,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
or, sitting on their couch bawling their eyes out for another reason because they think that they're worthless. You don't
Mm-hmm.
see that. You just see
No.
what they post on Facebook. So never judge anybody.
Yep. Yep. You never know what their life's been like or what they're dealing with that day.
No,
So
never at all. So, all right. Well, it has been amazing talking to you and getting to know you.
it's been fun.
I can't wait to meet you in person and get the necessary pick of the get listener that I finally get to meet in person. So which was great. The first time I've been doing races with the team, I'd interviewed pretty much everybody on the team, like Brittany,
Really.
you know,
Yep.
Amanda, all of them, and never met them,
Mm-hmm.
and Erica even until we did the race together. And then I'm like, oh, hey, I get to meet you all
Awesome.
now. I know
Yep.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Which they already felt that that's what was amazing too. I think for the first time I raced with the group, most of the people I was with already felt like family because I
Yes.
knew them. We'd been friends on Facebook. We'd done
Mm-hmm.
this, talked. So
Yep.
uh,
Big family, big
it is.
extended family. So
It
yep.
is. It's the family we choose. And sometimes
100%.
the family you choose is much better than one you're stuck with.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, it's been amazing talking to you, and I
Yep.
can't wait to meet you in person.
All right. I appreciate it, Mike.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the BeastNet podcast. If you haven't done it yet, find us on Facebook, like and share the podcast. Give us a review on iTunes or Spotify. All these things will help to expand the show in the future. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know what you think and what you'd like to hear.